Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel about my new Hexagon zoo. I guess at this point it's not that new anymore. We have 5 exhibits at this point, I think. We have the peafowl, we have the goats, the deer, the emu, the meerkats, and the llamas, or no, alpacas. It's alpacas. So 6. We've got 6 species so far in a little exhibit building on the amenities, in the amenities area. And this week, I'm not actually building for another animal. As you saw in the title, I'm building the entrance building finally. I started the zoo just with animals because I felt like building for some animals. I didn't actually build very well for the animals. If you go back, the peafowl exhibit was pretty bad to start with, and we're going to continue along that theme because the building that I'm currently building there, yeah, spoiler alert, that does not end up being the final building. I had it in my brain that I really wanted to be inspired to build this 70s house that I saw a tour of on YouTube. So that's what I did here. I picked some pinkish looking base rock and put some corrugated metal sheeting as the side walls, basically, and colored it green. For some reason, I thought this looked good. Or I don't know if I ever thought it looked good, but I thought I needed to trust the process and just keep going with it. So I did for quite a while. I actually finished this entire building. I mean, I don't know if you would call it finished. It didn't really have doors. It had a very bad roof. But I mean, I kept going with this. I built on this project for an hour and a half with some intermissions from just comments coming in the chat and on Twitch. Which, yes, by the way, I have a Twitch. I do stream about once a week, just building these builds, and then afterwards I edit them and I put them on YouTube like you're watching right now. But yeah, I built the base hexagon, obviously, because it's the Hexagon Zoo. And then the roof, I didn't really have a plan for, as is becoming painfully obvious if you're looking at the screen right now, because I'm just like pulling out random pieces, putting them down on the ground, just kind of basically seeing what sticks. And then I found out that there are actually hexagon glass pieces. So, those are triangles. The ones I'm using there are triangles. But there are hexagon ones that I end up using in the final build, but not in this one. No. In this one, I decided to make my own hexagon out of these triangle-shaped pieces. And to be fair, it kind of worked. It is a hexagon roof. It's not a very good-looking hexagon roof, and I didn't really finish it very well, but it is a hexagon roof. Yeah, I'll give myself that. I persevered. I did build this building. I got it in my head that I wanted to do this, and I did it. Did I do it well? Not really, but I did it. So that's great. Like I said, I spent about an hour and a half on this, so my video this week is going to be, it's looking very erratic because I'm trying to just go through it as fast as possible because I didn't end up keeping this. This is 2 videos combined into one, or 2 streams combined into one video. So you'll see the actual finished product of the final entrance building that I completed in a secondary stream. But this was a process. So as you saw, I did all of my building work and then just desperately tried to find any way to make this roof work, but there's not really any way to make that angle work with pieces that are grid pieces. So they had to kind of be freeform pieces, or like I said, like you see there, I had to make them as separate buildings all the time. So I think this is it for that building, as you just saw there again, and now I am moving it to the side. This is the second stream that I did, and this one went much better. Luckily, I had like another inspiration moment at some point, and I figured I could use the plaster walls, because as we saw before with the flooring and the pathing, you can kind of fix the broken path system by just faking a path out of plaster flooring or plaster pieces, because when they overlap, it doesn't show. So you don't see that there is multiple pieces stacked together. And I figured I can make that work for me in this in this building process, basically. Because as you can see, I'm building out of multiple pieces that are overlapping with themselves. So it doesn't look like there are multiple pieces when in fact there are. Does that make any sense? I don't know if it makes sense, but you can see I built 2 hexagons already. Instead of that one large one, I decided to make multiple smaller ones. And then I just made the main building a bit taller. So I figured like that would be a good architectural way of showing like the progression through the buildings. Because as you can see, there's about to be a third one. And so I made the third one the smallest, and the first one, I guess, or maybe it's the third one that's the biggest. But anyway, they get from smaller to bigger as you progress through the different levels. So you would go in all the way on the left there through the parking lot, walk in through the buildings, maybe look at some exhibits, some like museum type stuff, a gift shop, you know, what the normal things that you have in zoos. And then there you go. You have the actual zoo that you came there for. So it's great. It worked wonderfully. And also the plaster pieces really saved my life here, because the overlapping on multiple areas, like I used it so many times, not just for the side walls, just for not for just this awning that I'm building there. I used it for the roof, which I didn't really want to do because I felt like it was kind of a cop-out. But in the end, there's not, to my knowledge, with my amount of creativity, there's not a better way to do this. So this is how I'm doing it. And I just adjusted the decorations here by the P files a little bit. And then I thought I would just duplicate that little tree in a planter box. Is that what it's called? Yeah. The little saplings, the apple tree saplings in the planter boxes. I duplicated those a bunch of times. And I figured, like, if this was a new build, like the zoo had just upgraded their entrance building, they probably would have planted some new trees to beautify the area a little bit, make it pretty. So that's what I did there too. I think that adds a little bit to the realism of it. And then I didn't build a parking lot. I have in the past built like quite elaborate entrance buildings and parking lots. Maybe if there's demand for it, I could take you on a tour of previous buildings that I've built. I just feel like it's kind of more interesting to see the building in progress than it is to just tour a building that's already finished, because you're not seeing how it actually worked. Whereas here, you can, if you wanted to, slow this down and really watch what I'm doing. Or maybe ideally, if I'm a good narrator, I'll explain it. I'm not really doing that right now. But I could, or if you stop by a stream, revolutionary idea there. If you stop by a stream, you can definitely ask me any questions. I had, during the first stream of building the first entrance buildings, I had some people stop by and we did talk about actually using building pieces for making fences, because it's way more economical for you to do that versus maintaining the just fences that Planet Zoo gives you. Look at that, I even added some decorations to the front building there. It's much better or much more economical because you don't have to pay a mechanic to build the fences for your animals out of building blocks, and just use a null barrier to finish it, or like use a null barrier to tell the game where the barriers are, if that makes sense, so the animals can't get out, but you also don't have to maintain any type of barrier. So it frees up your mechanics time so they can work more on like water and electricity and stuff. And it also makes it so that you have to spend less money because you have to hire fewer mechanics to do the fewer jobs that they have to do. So then as you can see here, I made these little tiny hexagons. I really wanted these to work for me, and I don't know that they do. I may have to at some point go back to this because I just randomly placed them on the roof there. There is no rhyme or reason to how they're spaced, and I had to adjust them a little bit here. They're totally crooked, or not crooked, but they're like totally, I'm going to repeat myself. There's no rhyme or reason to these. They're just like randomly spaced in here because I wanted there to be windows in the roof. For some reason. Don't ask me why. I just thought that, we have these hexagon pieces. Might as well use them. This is a Hexagon zoo. Not news to anyone, if you're still watching at this point. So yeah, this is how I finished the building. Just more plaster because it works. It makes my life so easy. It's kind of a cop out, like I said, but it worked great. And there's the final zoo. Like you can definitely see how it's it's interesting. I thought it kind of looked like a soccer ball, so I colored it in a different color, and that I think made the whole thing like that really gives the zoo more of an identity. The fact that it now has colored entrance buildings, and I can like carry those colors forward into other areas of the zoo, so it makes it feel all a little bit more cohesive. I actually did it with the meerkat building already. I recolored the roof over there and the side walls of the more plaster that I used there. But yeah, that's it for the entrance building here. I hope you join me again for the next time I release a video, or even for a stream on Twitch. I have it linked in my profile, so if you would like to stop by, I would greatly appreciate that. And with that said, have a wonderful rest of your day, and hopefully I'll see you again in the next one. Bye!